Postseason Live, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois.
And Hendricks breaks his bat, flares it into center, it drops for a hit, and 2-run score. And the Cubs grab a 3-0 lead.
How about that from Kyle Hendricks? The Cubs now take a commanding 2-0 lead in the NLDS thanks to a 5-2 win in Game 2 over the San Francisco Giants. It is Travis Wood, your winning pitcher, after Hendricks left because of an injury. Former Cub Jeff Samardzija suffers the loss, and Aroldis Chapman again coming in for the save and getting the job done. Impressive stuff for sure. Let's take a look at the magic number. 9 wins away as you hear the song Go Cubs Go. I'm sure it is being sung at Wrigley right now by a lot of very happy fans. Let's take a look at the intersection of Clark and Addison. People outside flying the W, no doubt singing the song and hopefully going to enjoy their Saturday night after what was a victorious and another electric atmosphere at Wrigley Field. Thanks to that 5-2 win. Plenty of adrenaline in this one, including a fun 9th inning to watch. Thanks to Aroldis Chapman doing what he does best and hitting that radar gun at 103 miles an hour. And now the Google Earth Cam as we check out the marquee. Another win for the Cubs, same as what happened on Friday night when we brought this show to you as well. Good stuff for sure. This is Cubs Postseason Live, by the way, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. As for what happened in this game, let's take you back to when it started. Kyle Hendricks got off to a great start in Game 2. With 2 outs in the first, Hendricks gets some weak contact from Buster Posey. The ground out to second ends the inning. Jeff Samardzija's first was not so great. Dexter Fowler works a 9-pitch at bat to start the game and then capitalizes with the double. Samardzija threw 20 pitches in that first inning. And then 3 batters later with 2 outs, Ben Zobrist loops a single to shallow right. Fowler scores to make it 1-0 Cubs. Now we go to the top of the second, 2 on and 1 out. Giants wild card hero Connor Gillespie hits into a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. That sends us to the bottom of the second. Jason Hayward leading off. He hits a rocket into the right field corner. Hayward hustles to second with a double. And then with the bases loaded and nobody out, Hendricks helps his own cause. A broken bat single to center. Hayward and Javi Baez score and the lead grows to 3-0. And how about the aggressiveness of Javi Baez on the base pass? He was 56 feet past second with the ball still in the air. That is some hustle. A day after hitting a game-winning homer, Baez with another big play. We go 2 batters later. Chris Bryant sends one to right. Hunter Pence can't make the play. Wilson Contreras scores, and it's 4-0 Cubs. As we move to the third, after a leadoff double by Joe Panic, Gregor Blanco follows with a pinch hit double of his own to center. The Giants on the board. They would score again on a sacrifice fly, cutting the deficit to 4-2. To the top of the fourth, with 2 away, Hendricks gets hit by a line drive off of Angel Pagan's bat. It hit Hendricks on his right arm. He leaves the game after just 3 2/3 innings. It is a forearm contusion for Hendricks. X-rays were negative. So Travis Wood comes into the game. And Wood first would face Gillespie, strikes him out to end the frame. So in the bottom of the fourth, Wood breaks out the lumber. First pitch he sees, a solo home run to left off of George Contos. His first home run since July 2014, and it's 5-2. The pitcher takes a standing ovation and a curtain call. 6th inning, Javi Baez hits a deep fly ball to left field. That is off of the wall. And Baez trying to make something happen. Hustles for second base, slides head first. He's initially called safe. Javi is shaken up after the play. This one gets reviewed and it is eventually overturned as he came off the bag. So after a single, he is considered out on an outfield assist. Let's fast forward to the 9th inning now. Chapman on the mound, 2 outs, facing Kelby Tomlinson. Fans him with the 103-mile-an-hour heater to put a bow on this one as the Cubs win by a final of 5-2. As we take a look at the scoreboard, a very different game offensively from the one we saw last night. The Cubs could only manage 3 hits on Friday. That was a 1-0 win. This one a little more cut and dried. Early run support for Hendricks. 9 hits by the Cubs. 3 errors, 2 of those Chris Bryant's, one of them a catcher's interference by Wilson Contreras. But it is a 5-2 Cubs win over the Giants in a commanding 2-0 lead as the Cubs take advantage of having home field advantage at Wrigley Field. And you see the numbers there. Buster Posey 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Hunter Pence just 1 hit in the game. And how about Kyle Hendricks with 2 RBI as well? Ben Zobrist 1 for 4 with an RBI. And Wilson Contreras providing some pop as well. 2 for 3 in the game with a run scored. And now we want to get interactive with you. We invite you to vote. You can do it on your phone, your computer, or your tablet. Go to csnchicago.com/vote, and in a few minutes, we will bring you our live fan vote. Let's take a look at what it is. Our question, who is your NLDS Game 2 MVP? As we start to see the Clark and Addison intersection filling up. Your choices are Chris Bryant, Wilson Contreras, Kyle Hendricks, Travis Wood, impressive both at the plate and also on the mound as well, coming in relief, or Ben Zobrist. You have 5 choices. I know it's tough, but you have to pick one. And right now, the number is overwhelmingly in favor of Travis Wood. Of course, we will update that throughout the show here on Cubs Postseason Live. Now, about Travis Wood hitting this home run on the first pitch you saw. He became the first reliever to hit a home run in the postseason since Rosie Ryan did it back in the 1924 World Series. Wood also hit the 3rd home run by a Cubs pitcher in the postseason, which may lead you to ask, who else did it? Well, we're going to tell you. The first one came back in Game 1 of the 1984 NLCS off the bat of Rick Sutcliffe. The Red Baron won the Cy Young Award that year after going 16-1 for the Cubs after coming over from the Indians. The Cubs won the game 13-0, but would lose the series in 5 games. The other pitcher to accomplish the feat a little bit later on, Kerry Wood, back in Game 7 of the 2003 NLCS against the Marlins. Woody's blast came in the 2nd inning and pulled the Cubs into a 3-3 tie. But Todd Hollingsworth Marlins squad would go on to win the game and head to the World Series. Now we look over at the intersection of Clark and Addison again. Fans filling up, of course, after the Cubs take that 2-0 NLDS lead over the Giants. It was a 5-2 win, thanks in part to many heroes in this one, as we showed you on iPowwow. Wilson Contreras, 2 for 3 in the game. Chris Bryant, a hit as well, an RBI. And speaking of Chris Bryant, our Kelly Krull caught up with him just moments ago.
Well, Chris, it seems like October is just made for sort of the unlikely hero. We talked about it last night in Javi Baez, and tonight it seems like Travis Wood really came through for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he expected to come in the game that early. Unfortunately, Kyle, couldn't go, but I'm so happy for Travis. I know he's always ready for it, and he needed a home run to top it off. So happy for him.
You mentioned Kyle knowing he is okay. We can talk about the bullpen in a very positive manner tonight. 5 1/3 scoreless innings. How critical was that in this game?
It's huge. I mean, they've been doing it all year long. One guy goes down and someone picks him up. I mean, unbelievable for Chapman to come back again and do what he does, and Ronnie getting in there, and Travis and Mike. I mean, it was just a total team effort.
2 nights in a row, these fans on their feet. It seems like they're clinging on every play. Just describe the atmosphere for those who aren't here.
Yeah, it's as best as it can be. I mean, they're hungry for a World Series, and so are we. And they're having them show up every day and cheer us on, and it's definitely a huge advantage playing here.
Take us on the plane tonight. The chatter between the guys, knowing you all are up 2-0, and Jake Arrieta on the mound for Game 3 in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, we're feeling really good, but you never 0 with this game. I mean, they got a great guy going in Bumgarner. Jake seems to step up when it counts, and it should be a fun matchup.
Chris, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks.
That was Chris Bryant. Now here's Bruce Bochy at the podium.
Get things rolling here, but we do need to get this offense going a little bit. I do think we had some good at-bats early. Guys were doing a pretty good job there, but Jeff was just off a little bit tonight.
Other questions for Boch? Nothing else? All right. Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it.
That was Bruce Bochy, and as we take another live look there at Clark and Addison, we now go back to the field where Kelly has Travis Wood.
Travis, you came in probably a little earlier than expected, but let's talk about you at the plate first before we get into your pitching. Off the bat, did you know it was gone?
When I hit it, I knew it was gone. I was fortunate enough to put a good swing on a pitch, and it went out and give us another run.
Okay, I'm going to throw a stat at you. First reliever to hit a home run in postseason since 1924. How do you like knowing your name's going down in the history books like that?
Feels good. Not as good as the win, but it feels good.
Okay, and a big night for the bullpen. You set the tone for them, but 5 1/3 scoreless innings. How critical was that, given we know Kyle Hendricks is okay now, but this was an important one to come away with?
Big one for us as a bullpen. Nobody wants to see their pitcher go out like that. But we handled our own. We picked it up. We picked up the slack, and we got a great pitching staff through and through. We got a great ball club through and through. And they've got a great ball club too. So we still got a lot of work to do.
When you say that, the mindset heading into Game 3, knowing Jake Arrieta's on the mound, but your hitters are going to have to face Bumgarner.
Baseball's baseball. You can never take anything for granted. You never know what's going to happen on any given night. So we got to come in ready to go.
What did you think about the job your guys did against Jeff Samardzija tonight? Of course, one of your former teammates.
I love Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Jeffrey's one of my good friends, but tonight was our night. I'm sure he's a great pitcher, so it just wasn't his night tonight.
Well, congratulations, Travis. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Guys.
How about that? Travis Wood calling Jeff Samardzija Jeffrey. That was impressive. And then also a typical hitter's answer there from Travis Wood. Just trying to put a good swing on a ball. Oh, yeah, except it's the first time something like that has happened since 1924. Pretty impressive stuff, but really what we've seen out of Travis Wood all season long. When he is asked to do anything, whether it's on the mound, relieve somebody who leaves the game early, go long in a game, or produce at the plate, or maybe even in left field, Wood somehow comes through. I'm just saying maybe that's a vote you should vote for in our live fan vote. Another look here at the Cubs marquee outside Wrigley Field. Victorious, a 5-2 win over the San Francisco Giants. The team gets ready to leave Chicago and head over to the Bay Area. Game 3 is Monday at 8:30 at AT&T Park, where they will face a hitter and a pitcher in Madison Bumgarner. Bumgarner did pinch hit this evening. Wasn't as successful at the plate as Travis Wood was, though. Still pretty impressive stuff. You continue to see the fans, after singing "Go Cubs Go," pour out into the streets of Wrigleyville, no doubt celebrating a second Cubs postseason win here in the NLDS. And as we go through what happened in this game, Dexter Fowler really set the tone, starting from the very first at-bat, working Jeff Samardzija with a 9-pitch at-bat. And so often we've heard the phrase, "you go, we go." But working Samardzija into a high pitch count, he wasn't the only one, but he was responsible for 9 of Samardzija's 20 pitches he threw in that inning. And then Fowler capitalizes here with a ball off of the wall and turns into extra bases. And none other than Ben Zobrist ends up bringing him home. And as we check out what happened when Zobrist was also at the plate in that first inning, Samardzija at the 17-pitch mark at this point. This is a 1-1 count. And you see Zobrist turn on it as well. That placed perfectly for a hit. And then Fowler, with his speed, is able to come around and score. Zobrist pumped up with the RBI single. It really set the tone for the Cubs as they were to give Kyle Hendricks some early run support in this one. Also an impressive note for the Cubs as well, when you consider Hendricks with the 2 RBI single and Travis Wood with the home run. That's 3 RBIs out of the pitchers and also the number 9 spot in the lineup. So impressive stuff for sure. Seeing those Cubs batters contribute. Chris Bryant also responsible as well with an RBI. but just a good performance offensively all around on the part of the Cubs hitters, producing with 9 hits in this game. That compared to just 3 the night before. San Francisco had 6 hits on Friday night, but they weren't able to get anybody across home plate. That a 1-0 ball game. This one a 5-2 game. And now it is time to bring in our Cubs postseason live crew. It is the 2 guys I've been looking forward to seeing, Cap and Holly. Hey guys, take it away for me from Wrigley Field.
All right, Liv, thanks so much. All right, Cubs get it done. 5-2, Holly. They grab a commanding 2-0 lead in this series and have put themselves in a really good position as they head out west.
What an incredible job by the bullpen tonight. I mean, just absolutely brilliant. I think when we opened up this series, there was some idea that this bullpen was really good. We knew we had to roll this Chapman at the end. That's why he was brought here. But the idea was, how good could this bullpen be? How are the matchups going to go? Thrust into it after Kyle Hendricks takes the ball off the arm, has to leave the game. I mean, this wasn't see it coming or setting the stage for 6 solid innings and then, 9 outs from your bullpen. This is all hands on deck early in this ball game. Did a fantastic job. Travis Wood comes in, huge home run, loved it. Wow, what a moment, and a great job by that bullpen. Classic Cubs win. We talk about it all the time. We've said it many times this year. Get an early lead. Jump that starter, got all over Jeff Samardzija. Turn it over to your pitching and let them do what they've done all season long. Pitch brilliantly and pitch with a lead.
Yeah, Kyle had to leave the game. If you missed it, he was hit in the right forearm, x-rays negative, but you could see he wanted to stay in the ball game. And Joe Maddon just said, no, sir.
Well, and it's probably the right move. I mean, again, you don't know what's going to come out of that after taking a ball off the arm. He probably, I'm going to guess, I mean, again, if you're having an MRI and everything else that kind of goes in it just to make sure that he's okay. But the way that he was hit, I was concerned because it's not something that would have immediately been something you would have said, oh, okay, maybe you could have talked your way into staying out there, but in 5 minutes that thing could have swelled up so bad he wouldn't have been able to go, and then you don't know what this game situation condition is. So I thought it was the right move to get him out there. Obviously easy for us to say right now because this game played the way the Cubs wanted it to. Brilliant job. Great use of the bullpen, and like I said, a classic Cubs win.
Yeah, you look at Travis Wood comes in, does his job. Carl Edwards Jr. does his job. You had Mike Montgomery do his job. Hector Rondon, and then you hand it to your lockdown guy in the 9th in Aroldis Chapman. But the offense was interesting because Kyle Hendricks drives in a couple of runs.
Right.
We mentioned the home run from Travis Wood, but that big hit from Hendricks was just such an emotional
it was.
help to the Cubs and so demoralizing to the Giants.
Well, it was interesting because, we were all, asking each other, all right, so what are you going to do? Everybody's asking me, what do you do with Kyle Hendricks right there? And I said, well, somehow, some way, you've got to get around him. You don't want to sacrifice. It's quite obvious. I just feel like when you've got the bases loaded, you've got a pitcher hitting there in that situation, that there's just so much going on. Runners moving. If he pops up that bunt, you could lose the entire inning. So a lot of times you'll see managers strategize around, how do I get around this spot with the least amount of damage to what I've already built in this inning, what you got going? And he answers it right away with a base hit to center field. I mean, even if the ball's caught and you get out of the way, you're like, you got out of the way. It wasn't a double play. It went brilliantly. Great swing of the bat, and Kyle has been doing a better job working at it this year, coming through Travis Wood. I mean, the production from the bottom of the lineup tonight, Cap, was absolutely amazing. It wasn't the big boys who did it. It was the Baez's of the world. Jason Hayward, big double. I mean, you look down at the bottom of this lineup, Contreras had a couple big hits, and then obviously the pitcher's spot drove in 3 runs in this ball game. So, I mean, you see how this game went. Very interesting. I felt like we slugged a little bit better, Cappy, which is kind of how we have been all season long and looking at the Cubs. But you watch this Giants team, and I told you at the beginning of this series, they need to string hits together. They don't possess a tremendous amount of power. Look how this series is played. They've continued to have runners on base. They haven't struck out a whole lot, but they can't seem to get anything going right now. First 2 games go to the Cubs. They're playing into the Cubs' hands right now. They're doing what the Cubs want them to do.
Yeah, and if you look, as we talked yesterday before Game 1, if you look positionally, the Cubs have an advantage at just about every spot.
Absolutely.
And so you have to jump pitchers early, as you said yesterday. They were able to do that for Jeff Samardzija, his worst nightmare. He comes back to pitch here, and he's gone in 2 innings.
Well, and again, we talked about this early. Jeff's thing, and sometimes when he's pitching, and, I've watched his entire career, and he's a very, very good big league pitcher, is that he's in some way a bad matchup for this Cubs team. They know how to battle. They know how to foul off pitchers' pitches, 95, 97 miles an hour.
They like heat.
I've been saying that to you for years, and there's different ways of going about it. It's not, people think, well, if I can hit velocity, it's what's the end result? Are we getting a bunch of hits against velocity? Well, if you've got a guy who's throwing 97 miles an hour, and much like Dexter Fowler did his first at bat, I told you it was the double win. I think it was an 8 or 9 pitch at bat right there, and he gets the double off the wall. It puts Jeff Samardzija, who's a high velocity, high energy guy, in a bad spot. He's throwing multiple pitches to multiple batters, high end, and getting leverage because he's got runners on base. Here's the other thing. These guys battle. When he starts to make mistakes, and we talked about it, was actually one of the keys to the game, he doesn't make mistakes off the plate. He actually starts making mistakes back towards the middle of the plate. And it started early with the Dexter Fowler double. That was supposed to be a fastball in. He didn't get it there. He left it right out over the plate, and Dexter Fowler banged it off the wall.
Yeah, it was actually up a little bit, and Dexter went up and got it.
Right.
I mean, he ripped it.
Well, and again, it's about getting timing. He saw 5 98-mile-an-hour fastballs during that at-bat. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious they were able to put together a good game plan against Jeff Samardzija. Enact it, go out there, put together good at-bats, and make it happen. That's exactly how it went. And then you get the bullpen in there, and you've already got the lead. It's what you wanted.
All right, let's take care of this.
Boom. Don't knock my mic out. Thank you.
Get it done. Now let's go to the press room. Joe Maddon brought to you by Xfinity.
Joe, you guys took a long look at Kyle after he got hit. What was the conversation like, and is he going to be okay?
Yeah, he's fine. I mean, in that particular moment, a guy gets hit in the arm, and then he throws that first pitch and really yanks it. So I was concerned when I saw that. And my message to him was, okay, even if you could finish this inning, more than likely, you're going to go in, sit down, it's going to swell up, we got to get ice on it. You're probably not going back out the next inning anyhow. So why mess with it right now? Why make him throw more pitches? That was the message. He knew he wasn't right. He knew it was going to get sorer, so that's what we did. Apparently there's nothing wrong as we know it right now. I don't know how long it's going to take for him to be well again to be able to pitch, but he's fine.
Joe, it looked like the bullpen was just kind of set up perfectly for you, left, right, and it worked out maybe exactly how you drew it up.
Yeah, of course, Woody hitting a home run was part of the plan. I did put him in there because he was coming up second. That was part of it. Did not want to pinch it there, obviously, with the 2 lefties at the top of the batting order. I thought it was a good spot for him. He did really well. He's been throwing the ball. He saw the numbers on the board. It's getting back up to 92 and sometimes 93 with this fastball. So he'd been pitching a lot for us. I was riding him a little bit too hard. We backed off towards the latter part of the year. Right now he's got his energy and his arm strength back, and he was very good. And then you could just talk about the whole group. CJ, outstanding, and Montgomery, very, very good. The curveball was pertinent to both sides. And then Rondon. It was nice to see Ronnie come in there against 2 really good hitters. And, of course, Chappie's been throwing the ball well. So you knew that, again, that's part of the playoff situation. With a day off the next day, you could be a little bit more liberal with a lot of these different things you may want to attempt to do. Although you still only have 7 guys in the back of your mind, extra innings, keeping people back. So the way it eventually turned out, where we did not have to use Strope or Grimm, was a good moment, knowing that we could get to Rondon and then Chapman and keep these guys back. Yes, sir.
Joe, that what happened with Kyle tonight, but that single, knocking a couple of runs there with the bases loaded. Can you just describe what you saw and what kind of boost that was?
You saw once again why Javi's such a good base runner. He, even on the play before that, he was trying to move the runner in front of him. He knew it was down, but on that one, he definitely knew it was down the moment it was hit. Great read. And he's pushing Jason in front of him, and he scores. I'm probably 90-some% of our guys would not have scored like he did on that particular play. And I would say throughout the industry, most guys would not have scored on that play. They would have hesitated. They would not have read it the way that he did. Then, of course, he made the gaffe on the play where he gets eventually the call gets overturned, which I still want to see the video of that. But anyway, this guy is incredible. I've talked about his instincts and his acumen on the field. It's just different.
Other questions?
Yeah.
Right up here. We'll get you the mic.
Joe, what can you say about Travis? He's a guy that got here on the ground floor of the rebuilding. He lost his job as a starter last year, didn't complain to us about it. Now he's kind of redefined himself. What can you say about what he's contributed here the last 2 years?
Well, he's been outstanding. I mean, we lean on him a lot, as you can see, just based on appearances. When he's right, he's good against both lefties and righties, and he's been getting back to that point right now. He's a leader in the clubhouse. People don't even talk about Travis, but a lot of guys go to him for different issues, and they lean on Travis a lot. He's got a great personality, as you know. He's very calm. It's the kind of guy that likes to sit on the back porch all winter. That's what he does. And so when he goes out there to play, even in the tightest situation, he's very comfortable with it. He takes his batting practice. He looks for those opportunities, and then he sees it today.
Other questions here? First row, Liam.
You ran through the whole bullpen a little while ago, but how great was it to see the young guys, Edwards and Montgomery, in such a big spot come up the way they did?
It's very large. Moving forward, this is the second game, although would have done it no differently, I don't think, based on just the way their lineup was constructed, just trying to figure out Strop and Ronnie for the latter part of the game. It was really important to just use CJ the way we did, and that the fact that Montgomery threw strikes as well as he did. But to get those guys, get them off the ground a little bit, make sure that they understand the playoffs at home, I thought was very important, and to do as well as they did moving forward. So second game of the playoffs, I think that's probably their, CJ wasn't in last year, was he? No. So that's their real first taste in all this, and that definitely makes them a little bit more comfortable the next time out.
Pedro?
Joe, you've seen the Giants trail 0-2 and come back to win a series. What is it about them that enables them to do that? And what's your message to your club up 2-0?
Well, they're pros, man. I mean, I've said it from the very first day, the respect I have for that group. I've known Boch for a while. You hear their comments, or you watch how they react to different moments. They're never panicked. They're never concerned. So you're right. The message again is going to be game 164-5 on Monday. I'm really not into sending out anything extraordinary right now. Just continue to play the same game. I really believe our guys will come ready to play, knowing that they are also. That's just a given. But there's nothing you can do about it except play the game. I mean, control the controllables. We'll do our work. We'll prepare. And then it's Jake. I mean, we're in a pretty good. They have a nice pitcher. We have a nice pitcher going on that day. It should be another fun evening.
Anything else for Joe? No? All right.
Ruby,
Joe, thanks very much. Kyle Hendricks and Travis.
All right, now time for you to be able to weigh in on your thoughts of this game. Who was the MVP of this ball game? And you've got a lot of choices. I mean, Kyle Hendricks didn't pitch long, but he drove in a couple runs. Chris Bryant was out there tonight. Contreras is a guy that you could certainly look at. Travis Wood is a guy that you could look at. Or Ben Zobrist, who drove in, I believe, the first run of the ball game. So there's a number of ways you could go. I mean, Travis Wood played a key role in this game, coming in cold immediately when you had Hendricks go down with the arm contusion. So I don't know which way I'd go. A lot of different heroes tonight. That big hit by Hendricks was very key.
It was. I absolutely acknowledge that, and I think Kyle was just really starting to settle in right there. I think I would give my vote for Travis. I think this place went into a bit of a what's next kind of a, we're winning this game. We've played really well to this point. It's still early, but where are we going? We need to know that this is going to be okay. And I feel like we were all kind of feeling that, like, what direction was Joe Maddon going to go in, and how is this ultimately going to work? And you bring in Travis, and he strikes out the first guy he faces. Then he comes up and he hits a home run. It was like, yeah, see, that was the right answer, right? I think it set everything right back into place where it needed to be. There was a few desperate thoughts and a couple desperate seconds there when Kyle got hurt, came out of the ball game, and I think Travis did a fantastic job of really setting this whole place at ease a little bit when there was the potential to maybe, start to lose this game or give up some action, give up some base hits. It could have gone in a different direction. He came in and just gave this incredibly affirmative answer of, this is our game. I'm going to handle my business. And oh, by the way, I'm going to be the first guy in 100 years relief pitcher to hit a home run. Throw that into the mix, and then you get into the bullpen element of it. That's exactly what this game ultimately we knew was going to become after Hendricks left the ball game, but he was the first man up, and I thought he did a great job.
He did. Carl Edwards comes in, pitches very well. Right. Mike Montgomery comes in, gives you a quality outing. And then, of course, Rondon and Chapman had this place just going crazy with the velocity. And obviously, you had, let's hear from Travis Wood right now at the podium.
Kyle, it looked like you took a pretty good shot there. How did it feel then, and how does it feel now?
It feels all right now at the moment. You're in the heat of the battle, so I didn't really feel it at the time. But once I tried to throw a couple pitches there, Joe and I were kind of having a discussion. He told me, if there's anything at all, he didn't want me in there. And my fastball kind of coming out of my hand at the end just didn't really have feel at the time. kind of swole up on me. So, but X-rays were negative, so it feels pretty good now. Hopefully it's a day-to-day thing. Just get the swelling down. Be back in a couple days.
Other questions? Right here.
Kyle, Joe kind of gave us his spiel. You were probably going to come out after that inning anyway because you would come in and it would start to cool down and get sore. Did you lobby to stay in at all?
I did in the beginning after the first couple, and then I asked for one more. I just knew the feeling in my fastball just wasn't there. You know, I was cutting my sinker. I just couldn't feel where it was going. So after the last warm-up pitch, I knew it wasn't going to work out.
To your left, yeah.
Travis, what was that moment like for you? Big home run there, and obviously something that you've done in batting practice, but never quite at a stage like this.
I mean, it was a special moment for me personally, but you know, just to be able to pull off the win, and you know, Kyle started us off, and you know, the rest of the pitching staff just kind of followed suit to what he was doing, and to be able to pull off the win was huge.
Second row, guys.
Just to expand on that, Travis, I mean, you've been in that situation before where you've had to come in cold and pitch well and maybe go to left field and then hit. I mean, just did it all happen so fast to you? And take us through the at-bat even.
I mean, it happened pretty quick. It always does in a situation like that. But, you know, as a bullpen guy, you're always prepared, especially with Joe, for any situation that anything pops up. So you kind of keep your body and your mind locked into the game. And then so I was ready to come in, and then the at-bat, it was just, I figured he was probably going to start me out with a cutter. I made a good swing on it and was fortunate enough to, you know, get him and hit it out of the park.
Travis, I know you really relished those at-bats even during the regular season. Did Joe say anything to you when you came to take the ball, and did you even realize you were going to be up second next inning?
I knew if I was going to hit, I would be up second. But he didn't say anything. He told me to go get them, you know, take as much time as I need, make sure I get good and loose, and go get them.
Kyle, before you exited the game, how did you feel like you threw? And when you gave up those, you were on the base paths for a long time, you know, after getting the big hit. Did that have anything to do with them starting off the next inning hot?
No, you know, at the start of the next inning, I made a good first pitch to Panic, and then he hit a pretty good fastball, and then I made a bad pitch to Blanco. That was really about it. But I felt pretty good, you know, for the short time I was out there. Wilson and I were working really well together. He was nails back there, calling a good game, and a couple good plays behind me. Turning that double play was huge in that second inning. So obviously these guys picking up those innings, watching how they threw the ball after I came out was awesome.
Kyle, the big hit that you had kind of fought off I think it was a two-seam fastball. Can you take me through that at bat, and then were you able to see Javi racing around the bases and scoring there? Joe was really praising him as far as his base running.
I didn't see that at the time, but all I was trying to do, I was looking down for the signs, thinking maybe a bunt. You know, he let me swing away. I was just trying to get a pitch, you know, somewhere middle of the plate and put a good swing on it. Like you said, flared one out there, happened to fall in. Pretty lucky, but we'll take it.
To your left, guys.
Travis, I don't know if anybody told you, that's the first home run by a relief pitcher in a postseason game in 90-some-odd years. Any thoughts on that, humorous or otherwise?
No, not really. It just feels good to be able to, you know, contribute at the plate as well as on the mound. You know, that's what the pitchers are out there to do, especially the starting pitchers. I mean, Kyle's 2 RBIs trumped my 1. He did an outstanding job tonight, and we was just fortunate enough, you know, we picked him up tonight, you know, having his injury and stuff, and that's what we've done all year long. You know, we pull on each other, and we end up backing each other up.
Jesse.
For either of you or both, I mean, you're up 2-0. Feels like, you know, yesterday just kind of getting your feet wet, barely escape, and then this one feels a little bit better. Just the mindset now. I mean, you guys haven't been up 2-0 in a playoff series.
It's baseball. Anything can happen. You can't lay back or let up one bit. You know, you got to come out and keep the same mindset we had the last 2 days and go after them. I mean, we're going to go up against a tough pitcher in a couple of days that is known for these situations and really pulls through. So, I mean, we got to be all hands on deck and be really locked in for this next game.
Other questions? Bruce, Austin.
Kyle, you got some playoff experience last year, and then you go out and win the ERA title this year. So how disappointing was it not to be able to stay out there and go 5, 6, 7, 8 innings out there after having the year you did?
Yeah, it was definitely disappointing in a way, but you can't look at it like that. You know, the situation happened like it did. I had to come out, and like he said, that's what we've done all year is relied on everyone on this team. Everybody gets it done. Putting up all those zeros was huge. Putting on that extra run from him was huge. You know, that was what the game was all about, really.
Travis, any interest in facing Bumgarner at the plate?
If they want to let me get a bat, I'll take them anywhere I can.
One last one? No? All right, guys. Congratulations. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. All right, there you go. Kyle Hendricks and Travis Wood meeting the media, and it sounds like Kyle's going to be fine, but he said as he tried to warm up again or throw, they've made the decision, got to come out of the baseball game, and it worked out. Travis Wood stepped up and was outstanding.
Well, he was feeling it. There's no doubt about it. And, we were kind of alluding to that, having been there myself, being hit by a baseball at high velocity. A lot of times what happens is initially you believe you can still play, that it's going to feel sore, but it's not going to get stiff, and that's really what ends up happening that slows you down is when that stiffness starts to come in. I've been hit by a few fastballs in my day, and, the thing about it is it's like right away you think, oh, I'm good, I can stay in there, and about 5 minutes later you want to go up to your manager and be like, I think I made the wrong decision, and I think they tried to avoid that right off the top. That's why Joe was out there. He was communicating very well with what Kyle was doing. In fact, if you remember correctly, he warmed up kind of twice, and they allowed him to do that, which I thought was interesting. Threw a couple pitches, waited, talked a little bit more, then threw another couple pitches and said, you know what, this is going to happen. So, meaning he's going to probably get stiff. We're going to get you out of here.
All right, we got to take our first time out, come back and go inside the Cubs clubhouse. We'll get you the latest. You'll hear from some of tonight's heroes. 5-9-3, a whole lot better than 2-6-1. Cubs have a 2-0 lead in the NLDS. We'll be right back at Comcast Sportsnet.
Cubs Postgame Live is presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all.
If you feel like singing a song and you want other people to sing along, just sing what you feel. Don't let anyone say it's wrong. When there's a light, what light? There's a light. What light? There's a light. Why light?
When you visit Canals BMW, your toughest decision is which BMW will you drive home? A sporty BMW convertible? BMW sedan? BMW coupe? Or one of these BMW high-performance luxury models? And of course, everybody can get into one of these beauties. Canals BMW. Outstanding selection, competitive pricing, always a great decision.
Did you just see that? That was awesome. We have to try it. Okay. Okay, mine's not working. Maybe you have to bump it. Oh yeah, do the bump it thing. Right. Okay. Yeah.
You can take money out using the BMO Harris app.
You want to buy a hairless cat? There's a pet store down the street.
Cool.
I think she said BMO Harris app. Yeah, that makes more sense.
When your phone is your debit card, that's the BMO effect. BMO Harris Bank. We're here to help.
You know the feeling. The rush of every roll, every flip, sip, bite, note, and night. You know the feeling. Get it at Ameristar.
All right, time for our Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, and plumbing. Who's hot and who's not hot this postseason? For the Indians, how about Jason Kipnis, a local kid? 4 for 7, a home run, and 3 knocked in. Who's not? How about the Rangers? They go out and get the really good catcher from the Brewers, Jonathan Lucroy. 0 for 8, 2 strikeouts. That is brutal. All right, welcome back on our Cubs postseason live post-game show brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield with Todd Hollinsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Amid all the glow of a 2-0 series lead, some really, compelling storylines.
Right.
Anthony Rizzo has struggled mightily through the first 2 games. Any level of concern there?
Well, no, because the hitters go through these things. I mean, when you watch Anthony's at-bats, I use words like disconnected at times, and you watch him, he's swinging at pitches that we don't traditionally see him swing. He's maybe pressing just a little bit. He knows the pressure that comes along with who he is and what the responsibility is, around this team and what we've talked about a bullseye. I mean, he's a representative. He's the guy in this lineup that we talk about the most, along with Chris Bryant. He just needs to relax and get his pitch. When it comes down to it, he's going to get a few pitches in the zone. He needs to be able to do something with it. But when you start to expand the zone, you start to get yourself out. When you get yourself out, doesn't matter who's out there. It's not that he's getting beat by velocity or he's getting fooled by things. When you expand your zone and chase pitches in the dirt, you're kind of burying yourself.
All right, let's go to the Cubs clubhouse, and let's hear from Anthony Rizzo.
He needs to do a few more push-ups, but he's swinging the bat well. It's nice.
When you have a little margin for error, knowing that you're facing Bumgarner, but up 2 games to none, do you have to still think of the mentality as being, we need to win this game?
No doubt, it's a must-win. It's a must-win. We're going in there, and we're trying to win that game at all means cost, and that's what we did today. That's what we did yesterday. And that's what we're going to do on Monday.
Jake, how psyched up is he going to be to face Bumgarner in a game like that?
He'll be pumped. He'll definitely be pumped, especially coming off what he did last postseason, the year he's had. So he'll be ready, and former Cy Young award winner on the mound for us.
Can you kind of describe how the complexion of this game could have changed if the Bullpen hadn't locked it down like they did?
Yeah, I mean, Woody coming in, facing those lefties, Montgomery throwing an extended inning there, going into the 8th. It's huge, and that's what our bullpen does. We relied on them all year, and our starters go deep, and our bullpen bails and shuts it down. So today, obviously Kyle coming out of the game was tough, but our bullpen was ready.
Most impressive thing the staff did was drive in 3, right?
Yeah, right. They drove in 3 runs. We've drove in 3 runs as a position players for both 2 games, so I'm sure we'll all hear that on the Woody's going to let us all know on the plane and on the bus.
Thanks.
All right, time for our Wrigleyville Sports winning box score, and this one, again, belongs to the Chicago Cubs. You take a look at the numbers, Holly. You kept score throughout the game when the upstairs, and Kyle Hendricks had a big hit.
Well, he did. Really, the reflection of this game is how deep this organization, this team is, I should say. I mean, again, I still always refer to the guys coming off the bench and getting big hits as well, including Travis Wood stepping into the game and getting a big home run there. Kyle Hendricks, outstanding, yes. Good piece of hitting right there. But again, the bottom of the lineup, Contreras, Baez, we're doing a nice job. We got to get the top going a little bit. I mean, we got some going in the first inning, but after that, it was about the guys at the bottom of this lineup. It is what makes this team a 100-win season, a 100-win team. It certainly has been made it easier this year on the pitching when you've got consistent production top to bottom of the lineup. Right now, my take would be we need to get the guys at the top going. We got the guys at the bottom swinging the bats pretty well, certainly after this game, but that's it. I mean, they did their job down there. Contreras had a nice ball game, and some really good at-bats came from the 7, 8, and 9 spots in our lineup tonight.
Yeah, you had really good hit from Dexter to start things off in the first inning. A lace double off the right center field wall. You got a little bit out of Chris Bryant. Got to get Anthony going.
Well, it's certainly part of it. I mean, we know that, how this team got here. High on-base percentage guys, the slug, you got Bryant. Obviously, Ben Zobrist finished the season strong. He did have a big base hit in this one as well. But you're right. I mean, typically when we describe this team, over, say, a week's worth of games during the regular season, we don't go very long without mentioning Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Dexter Fowler, Zobrist as well. Right now, we're picking up a win at the bottom, and I think that's absolutely outstanding, the bottom of the lineup. But it would be a much more settling feeling if our guys were really swinging those bats, and that time's going to come. I think they just got to get into their rhythm.
All right, let's go back into the Cubs clubhouse. Let's hear from Javi Baez.
Good. My helmet hit me a little bit, and his feet kind of got me a little bit too, but I'm fine.
What were you thinking when Kyle went down after that comebacker?
When I saw the bruise, I knew he was kind of because he got him really good. And he threw a couple pitches and he said he felt good, and then he asked for a few more, and he was like, I'm kind of feeling it getting worse, and we don't want to take a chance.
A lot more offense tonight, Javi, but it was you with the long ball last night, and tonight it's Travis Wood. Did you call that one?
No, I didn't. I actually was watching my AB, and everybody went crazy. And when I saw Travis Wood running the bases, it was amazing.
And he really set the tone pitching-wise, too. You think about what the bullpen did tonight. Will you describe how that really changed the entire complexion of where this game could have gone?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, our bullpen has been ready to come in the games, and you know, they finally got a chance, and they did their job.
When you hit that, you thought it was gone?
I really good. You know, last night was a big fly, and this one was a long drive. I don't know. I don't know. Next time, no matter how hard I hit it, I'm just gonna try to get out of the box as soon as I can. If the ball is gone, I'm just gonna keep running hard.
Did Joe say anything to you about it?
No. I mean, not yet.
Any of your teammates say anything?
Riz, no pop. But it's all right. We win.
You guys, this win very different from last night, but you're up 2-0 going to San Francisco now with a chance to close it out. But what's the feeling in this clubhouse about that opportunity?
Well, obviously we're gonna go over there and not gonna let these 2 games get to us. Obviously, you know we up, but we can't let them get to us either. You know we're gonna see Bumgarner's over there. Hopefully we get him to make some mistakes.
Did your head hit his knee? Is that what happened when you slid into second base?
I think my helmet hit him and he came back to me. But I just thought I was bleeding because I was kind of feeling something leaking. But I think it was sweat.
Like your face hit your nose?
Yeah, it hit the top of my nose, but I'm fine.
All right, so there's Javi Baez, and it's hard for us to hear everything going on in the clubhouse, you know, out here. I could hear a little bit of it, but he kind of laughed it off, said, I've got to run hard. Todd, look, he's an amazingly talented player, Javi Baez. He had a huge home run last night. You cannot, 2 nights in a row, not hustle out of the batter's box and then not end up on second base because you popped up on a slide, when if you'd have hustled out of the batter's box, you'd probably be standing on second base. How does that get addressed?
Well, it's going to get addressed by the players, particularly the veteran players in the clubhouse. That's it. I mean, it's not a Joe Maddon conversation. Joe doesn't want it that way. I don't believe he runs that kind of clubhouse.
So it's a David Ross.
Maybe a David Ross. And listen, it doesn't always just fall on David Ross's plate either. I mean, there's other veterans in there that can handle it. The bottom line is this. We know Javi's an incredible player. He's too talented to play that way, and I guess that's the way that I would say it. I mean, listen, we all know that there's a little flavor that goes along with hitting home runs in this game, but you better be sure, and you certainly better not cost your team any extra bases or any extra outs in this postseason by hot dogging it. That's what it comes down to. You don't want to see it. You don't want to play that way. There's a time and a place for it. Be sure that, you know, whatever it is you did, the ball goes where it needs to go, because if it's not there and you're getting thrown out at bases, you're costing your team runs, you're costing your team an awful lot, you're costing the city an awful lot. I mean, that's the way that I always thought that, you know, you would see it, is that not only are you a representation of yourself, your family, your team, but your town. And I mean, it's kind of that pecking order, and he's got to be able to feel that responsibility of Chicago and what, you know, this organization's been waiting for a long time. I would have hated to see this play out in a different way, where you and I maybe aren't even on air right now or something, you know, heaven forbid this is a tie ball game, and that run would have meant something at some point. Listen, water under the bridge. He's, like I said, an incredible talent. And I think the words that David Ross would use would be something like this: you're better than that. And the point is that you're a heck of a player, you're a heck of an athlete, there's a time and a place for it. Let it happen when it happens, but don't get burned by it. And that's always the message. I think the game today is different than it was back in the day. I know that there's a lot more personality. Guys like to show their style, which is cool. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But you can't misplace it. You cannot get burned by it. If it costs your team, you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble for that. And I think David probably addressed it.
Right, and in a 5-2 ball game, that's a big run.
Every run matters. I mean, every run matters all the time. I mean, you know what? Everybody says, well, you know, it's a 7-run lead. I mean, I played enough to know that I watched 7-run leads go away. I just don't want to leave anything, unmarked and unchecked. I mean, you just handle your business that way and put yourself in a position so that things are done the right way.
All right, we've got to take another timeout. We'll come back. A whole lot more here to do on our Cubs postseason live post-game show. We'll have another poll question coming up for you to weigh in on, and more in the clubhouse. It's all coming up. We'll be right back on CSN.
Mr. Submarine is open late every night, so no matter when the urge strikes for a tasty sandwich with delicious ingredients on bakery fresh Toronto bread, dive into deliciousness with Mr. Submarine.
If you call Chicago home, you know there's only one way to eat a hot dog. We have 2 baseball teams, but you have to choose one. And there's only one way. Prove Chicagoans pay. Wintrust. Bring it home, Chicago.
It's Arlington Acura during our sales spooktacular. You better hurry to beat the rush.
Right now at Arlington Acura, get 0% APR for 60 months on new Acuras with great trade-in values.
Be sure to see us before you buy.
Bob Rohrman.
Bob Rohrman's Arlington Acura in Palatine, just west of Route 53 on Dundee Road.
In Chicago, some things just go together, like front porches and blue W's, bricks and ivy, Waveland Avenue and souvenirs, Jake and State Farm. Like home and auto insurance with State Farm, they just go together, and they save you time and money. Just another way we're here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Look at it, lads. New York City. Just doesn't get any better than this.
Actually, it does. With Grubhub, you can get the best foods delivered anywhere.
Gluten-free pad thai here for Seamus.
I am Seamus.
Gluten-free?
Yeah. Can't even taste the difference. Oh, you gotta lock up that front tire.
Cubs fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card available only at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC.
All right, time for our Ameristars Casino and Resorts pitching recap. Starters long gone by the time this one ended. You had Jeff Samardzija lasted just 2 innings for the Giants. Kyle Hendricks had to leave because of an injury. What's your take? Let's start with Samardzija.
Oh, well, listen, Jeff Samardzija, they were hoping that the momentum that he had built for himself. I mean, Bruce Bochy was talking about it, said, before the game that, this is one of the hottest guys coming into this postseason. Now, hard for me not to believe that he didn't get rattled a little bit by the home crowd here in Chicago, his former team, the Cubs, the environment, his first postseason start. As I said, he did exactly almost as predicted. When he missed out over the plate, Cap, and you can't do that to this Cubs team. They're going to make you pay, especially when it's straight and it's out over the plate, and it was simple as that. As his outing went on, and it wasn't long, the misses got easier, and the swings got easier as well, meaning guys were attacking pitches out over the plate, and the easy pitches were easy takes, balls in the dirt, balls off the corners. These weren't borderline pitches, so Jeff got away from his game, certainly made some mistakes. We had 5 hits the first time through the lineup. I can promise you it was probably the right decision to get him out of there because finding it after that sometimes can be very difficult to do. This environment and this team over here, this Cubs team, already had a pretty good vibe on him.
All right, let's talk about Kyle Hendricks. He wasn't overly sharp. He was okay. Came up with a big hit offensively, but after the Cubs had the 4-0 lead, he spit 2 of those runs right back with 2 ringing doubles.
Yeah, that's right. I think Kyle would tell you that it's probably C+, B- kind of a night for him. Again, he could have settled down and maybe gone through, but if he doesn't leave the ball game, maybe this is a different conversation. I mean, there was definitely evidence there. He did have 7 ground ball outs, which we talked about how important that was going to be tonight. Got a huge double play as well when we were sitting up there going, boy, he needs a double play. Wham, gets a double play, as if we were just asking for it and he was going to provide it. He did make some big pitches in this one. The point being, no walks, no strikeouts. I didn't expect a whole lot from either one of those categories tonight because of the way the Giants team operates, the way they swing the bat. I thought they had a pretty decent approach, but there was a few more balls elevated, guys that were hitting the ball against him, even though he did have those 7 ground ball outs. So I was a little surprised by that. But again, that could have just been a blip. I mean, if he goes 2 more shutout innings, this is a 6-inning affair where we talk about a 2-earned run performance, and that's a classic Kyle Hendricks performance. So, I mean, again, I'll certainly put it right there in the middle. I thought it was decent, maybe good, but it certainly wasn't great or his dominant self that we've seen at times.
All right, back into the Cubs clubhouse. Let's hear from tonight's starting catcher, Wilson Contreras.
yesterday.
Well, let's start out with the job that Kyle Hendricks was doing early on. What did you think with the stuff he had working against their lineup tonight?
I mean, he was doing really good. He did his job. He did what he wants to do. But the game changed when he received the line drive to him. I mean, it's not going to happen. But the game goes on, and we have to make adjustments.
What did you see from your vantage point on that one that went right back at him and kind of got him?
I think it was either a changeup. I called the fast, which took me off. Obviously, I have confidence on him to throw the changeup. I mean, he threw it, and he just slapped the ball. So, I mean, can't say anything, can't say much about it.
It's baseball, right?
Yeah, it's just baseball.
But from there on out, what about the bullpen tonight? I mean, 5 1/3 scoreless innings out of them against a really good team.
Oh my God, they were amazing. I got to give them the credit. You know, they were having an idea what they want to do. They executed pitches. We talked before the innings. We prepared ourselves to face this kind of team.
For you, this is your first playoff experience. We should have started with that. What was this experience like for you tonight?
It's just being amazing. I don't have pressure on myself. I don't put pressure on myself. I just when I try to do this much to help my team to win. That's what I did today.
What was your reaction when you saw Travis Wood go deep there?
Oh my God, it was amazing. I mean, nobody expected a pitcher to come and hit a homer. I mean, we're a good team.
Wilson, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Guys.
All right, time for our Clear Choice Dental Center's play of the game, and I think this one's pretty easy. It's Travis Wood's mammoth home run. Wow, second reliever since only other one to do it in the postseason, 1924.
Right. It's amazing. You know, I've played enough playoff baseball. I've seen enough of it to know that a lot of times in the postseason, you know, it's not the person or the people that we think that are supposed to win the games for us. Like you'd say tonight, you know, we will win because Anthony Rizzo will have a big game. We will win because Chris Bryant's going to hit 2 home runs tonight, or wherever those runs are going to come from. A lot of times it's the other guys that, you know, obviously constitute your roster or your team. And I think it's so interesting. I don't think any of us thought that, you know, Travis Wood was going deep tonight. I think we were all shocked and surprised. But here's the thing. Do you know that Travis Wood can swing the bat? Yeah, well, you're right. You know that, and I know that. It's just, it's amazing sometimes how that happens. First good fastball he gets, healthy hack. I wanted to ask him. Of course, I didn't have the opportunity. Like, when was the last time he even took batting practice? I probably believe it's been a while.
Well, if I said to you that a pitcher was going to hit a home run tonight, you would have said, in my opinion, it was either Jake Arrieta or Madison Bumgarner.
Well, right, sure.
The 2 best hitting pitchers in here.
Yeah,
actually, it might be Mad Bum's probably #1, but Travis Wood's a really good hitter.
Well, no, he is. There's no doubt about it, right? I mean, that was the one thing when we, you know, talked about, you know, how, you know, the relief job that he was doing, and you know that he doesn't get the, you know, we talk about the opportunity to pinch hit. By the way, Madison Bumgarner pinch hit tonight as well, you know, for the San Francisco Giants, and you know, Travis just doesn't get that opportunity nearly as much. I mean, I've known forever that Travis can swing the bat. It's a healthy hack, and he goes up there looking to do some damage, and he got a pitch and did it. Part of me is like, why am I so surprised that Travis would hit a home run tonight? But yet I'm so surprised that Travis hit a home run tonight.
How about this? Cubs have scored a total of 6 runs in the series, 50% of them driven in by pitchers.
It's been a theme all season long. Why stop now, boys?
By the way, the only other reliever in baseball history to have a home run in the postseason, that would be Rosie Ryan in the 1924 World Series.
You saw that, didn't you? Yeah, nice try. I beat you to that one. No, I win.
All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. A whole lot more to do here from Wrigley. Make sure you check out csnchicago.com/podcast and get our Cubs Talk podcast. A new episode going up tonight.
Did you just see that? That was awesome. We have to try it. Okay. Okay, mine's not working. Maybe you have to bump it. Oh, yeah, do the bump it thing. Right. Okay. Yeah.
You can take money out using the BMO Harris app.
You want to buy a hairless cat? There's a pet store down the street.
Cool. I think she said BMO Harris app. Yeah, that makes more sense.
When your phone is your debit card, that's the BMO effect. BMO Harris Bank. We're here to help.
How did DirecTV build a first-of-its-kind channel dedicated to fantasy football live on Sunday? They put together a team of in-studio experts with insightful in-game analysis of Sunday's biggest plays as they happen. Plus the latest NFL.com stats, injury news, and storylines that affect your lineups. Stay connected to the source on your favorite device while your team is on the big screen. All in a Sunday's work. Only NFL Sunday Ticket Max gives you the DirecTV Fantasy Zone. Upgrade your Sundays this fall. Channel 704.
My 95-year-old mother developed a deep bed sore in a nursing home. They told me this was normal, but it didn't sound right to me. I immediately called the nursing home lawyers at Pintas and Mullins.
If you or a loved one has suffered from bed sores, sepsis, broken bones, physical or sexual abuse, malnutrition, or choking, call me now and we'll investigate your case.
Pintas and Mullins got my family $800,000 from the insurance company.
You pay us nothing unless we get you a settlement.
All right, time for our Blue Cross Blue Shield key recap. Here's Holly, time 28.
All right, here we go. 3 keys to this ball game turned into a nice win. Cubs lead this series 2-0. Ground control, Kyle Hendricks. It was there, I thought, early enough. Again, I'm going to take an incomplete on the first one just because I'm not sure how I wanted to answer that. I felt like we did see a couple more innings of Kyle settling in. He did get the 7 ground ball outs. Certainly thought it was going to be a big part of it. I will go back to that huge 4-6-3 double play that he got in the second inning after the catcher's interference and the base hit kind of set things up for the Giants. Got a huge double play there, so it's certainly part of it. But again, a bit of an incomplete just because Kyle wasn't out there as long as we thought he would be. Now, shark bait. We crushed that one, baby. We were all over it. We talked about that an awful lot. When Jeff Samardzija makes mistakes, they are out over the plate. This lineup was ready to roll. 5 hits the first time through the lineup. That second pass probably would have been worse. They got him out of there. Jeff Samardzija did not last long enough to factor into anything other than getting a loss. Bottom line is the bullpen matchups played. Why? Well, because both starters were out of there early. Advantage us. Now, the Giants bullpen, listen, I thought for Cubs hitters, you make notes. We didn't get a whole lot done. I mean, we got the Travis Wood home run, and there wasn't a whole lot there. But you had some guys that you hadn't seen in a while. Contos threw the ball pretty well, and then all of a sudden, boom, he gets tagged. So take those notes. They could factor into this series. You're going to San Francisco. You're going to see a few of those guys potentially again. Take as much information as you can down. Our bullpen, fantastic. Once again, just a brilliant job again tonight. Ends with Aroldis Chapman picking up the save. And what did we see, 102, 103 tonight?
102.
As high as they got? Yeah. Well, bottom line is he got it, nailed it down. I'm a little disappointed I'm not more velocity.
You're looking for 105.
That's what I'm looking for.
All right, our UPS store taking care of business player of the game. We have voted on the bullpen as a whole. They were outstanding in relief of an injured Kyle Hendricks. And we mentioned Travis Wood, Carl Edwards Jr., Mike Montgomery, Hector Rondon, Aroldis Chapman. Chris Bassio's guys all delivered.
Well, if my numbers are correct, and like I said, we got a lot of things going on here. It's a crazy environment. I believe that the staff, I haven't looked at us, maybe, one walk. I don't think our pitching's walked the batter. I mean, how about that? Our bullpen, absolutely outstanding. Picking up Kyle Hendricks, Wood, Edwards, Montgomery, Rondon, Chapman, just brilliant job tonight. Stayed aggressive, threw strikes, no walks. I mean, that is just a dream, especially when you pitch for the league, Cappy. I tell you all the time, it's hard enough to string 3 hits together, but sometimes what does happen is a walk leads to a big hit somewhere else, and it turns into runs. You didn't want to see that happen in this ball game. In fact, it didn't happen. It turned into a Cubs victory. They had the early lead, and they made it stand up.
There's been 1 walk between 2 teams in this series. Javi walked tonight.
Right, it was us. It was Javi walked, right?
Yes.
But we didn't walk anybody, and that's what I was thinking in my mind. I know we didn't have as many strikes. We had more strikeouts last night, but I thought that's back-to-back games. We have not issued a free pass.
All right, let's go back into the Cubs clubhouse. Carl Edwards Jr.
Oh, I think anybody that goes up 2-0 at home and then, game 3 on the road, I think we can, I'm not going to say we're not going to relax at all, but, we're going to go out there and we're going to continue to have fun.
How much confidence does it give you, in your first postseason experience here with that defense behind you, a historic defense at that?
I feel like, I basically just feel like there's nothing, I feel like any pitch, any ball that's hit hitting the play is going to be made, regardless if it's a ball in the gap or, you know, or just a normal hit ground ball to somebody. I know for a fact that play is going to be made.
And that helps settle your nerves when you go out there for you.
Yeah,
like
it takes a lot off of me and all the other pitchers, knowing that, you know, we don't have to go out there and just constantly try to strike out everybody and waste pitches and stuff. We can go out there with, you know, confidence and knowing that, you know, if they put the ball in play, the play will be made.
How proud are you to be part of this, you know, a game like this where the bullpen had to come up so big?
I'm excited. Just been around these guys the whole year, and for today, especially today, for what happened to Hendricks goes down, and you know they call on the bullpen, and for us to do what we just did, to go 6 innings, and finish the game out is pretty astounding.
Does that instinct kind of kick in when you see Kyle leave? Do you guys all feel like you could all be used in a day like this?
I mean, when he left, it was all hands on deck. It was, like I said, we don't know whose number's been called. We don't know what the situation gonna bring up. We all had to sit there and just, patiently wait and see which number's gonna be called and go in and do our job.
CJ.
All right, when we come back from this break, we'll have the results of our poll question, who is the MVP of tonight's Cubs 5-2 win over the Giants, and gives them a commanding 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 NL Division Series. We'll come right back. More with me and Holly next on Comcast Sports Net.
Combining home and auto can save you big. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
This rusty mess isn't going anywhere. Don't trust it to just any cleaner. Trust CLR. CLR makes quick work of the toughest jobs, dissolving crusty white buildup so your shower runs like new. CLR cuts through hard water buildup and helps keep your washer running clean. CLR also earned the EPA's Safer Choice seal, so it's safer for your family. Trust the power of the CLR family and trust your clean to CLR. CLR is available at these fine retailers.
Rising from the Midwestern Plains, south of Chicago, is the award-winning Riverside Healthcare. Compassionate hands, focused on healing, helping you along life's journey. Professionals who offer hope and innovation. Experts using the latest technology to solve problems and welcome new beginnings. Seeing things clearly is the first step. Seeing that you're well is what we hold dear. Riverside Healthcare, putting well within reach.
This one has amazing gas mileage, but I think this one is more my style. But then again, maybe this one is more my style. What to do?
Now, at Continental Motors, there's a 3-day exchange policy on all used cars.
Wow, 3 days, really?
Yeah, 124 hours.
No, 3 days is 72 hours.
Well, not if you're using the metric system.
No, still the same.
Even if you carry the...
72 hours.
So then 3 days.
Grab your phone and come check out our unbeatable online selection at ContinentalMotors.com.
Hello?
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Are you serious? Not khakis. What are you wearing?
For fastballs, call me. For saving time and money, call State Farm.
You sound hideous.
All right, the poll question that we asked you, who's the MVC, most valuable Cub in today's ball game? And Travis Wood is your winner.
Of course he was.
Question. And the vote totals just keep going up. We are 57%. We are north of 60,000 votes just on the poll question.
Good to see everybody
a lot of people in there voting on who the most valuable Cub was tonight in this 5-2 win for the Cubs. Now they'll board their jet tonight. The Giants are not flying out till tomorrow. They're going to sleep in their Chicago hotel, then fly back. The Cubs are going right now to the airport as we speak. They will land, sleep, and then get up and have a late in the afternoon to early evening workout and a dinner in San Francisco. And then Monday night, crank it up and try and sweep the series.
Yeah, I was telling you about that dynamic. I think it's an interesting one, how both teams chose to do different things. If I were the Cubs, this is exactly what I would do. My postseason experience. Interestingly enough, when I was in L.A. playing with the Dodgers, we were playing Atlanta one year. So, again, it was flying all the way across the country. The other time, obviously in Miami, flying everywhere across the country. And we always wanted to fly the night after the ball game because we got the flying out of the way. You know, you'd played the game, you were tired, you got on the plane, you know, you could probably take a little bit of a nap, and next thing you know, you're there, and you can kind of have a little bit more of a normal day. If you fly tomorrow, you wake up, it's back to the airport, it's a total travel day. You can almost eliminate anything coming out of a positive workout. I don't know if the Giants are going to go straight to the field or even try to work out at all, but for the Cubs, I don't blame them. I would want to get a workout in tomorrow just to kind of get back to AT&T Park and see how things are and kind of get the feel and lay of the land, and they will be able to do that tomorrow. So I think it's a great decision.
Yep, and again, the Giants will stay the night in Chicago. As we just said, the Cubs are headed out to San Francisco this evening. The game 3, will be Monday night. Holly and I will have pre- and post-game coverage from our CSN studios. Now, back to the clubhouse. Here's Dexter Fowler.
I didn't, but, you know, we see him swinging, taking balls at BP, and, you know, they're hitting balls at the ballpark, so our pitchers can hit.
What was your thought when you saw Kyle go down after taking that shot?
You always hope it's nothing serious, but, you know, fortunately he's all right and should be able to come back.
Dexter's not over, obviously, but can you just talk about being in the driver's seat going out there now?
Yeah, you always want to take care of it at home, but, you know, we're going to a tough ballpark, and, you know, like I said, these guys have won championships before, so we still got some work to do.
How much different did it feel tonight getting out to that early lead? I mean, obviously last night was a real pitcher's duel, but you guys took the pressure off and knocked Samardzija out pretty early after just 2 innings.
Oh, it's good, especially at home. Take that momentum in from yesterday. Obviously, you know, we faced a pretty good pitcher yesterday, and he kind of pretty much shut us down. But you know, I had to come out swinging, and it was good to get those runs on the board.
Is that the mindset to come out a little more aggressive?
No, we make him throw strikes, and you know, and make him put the ball in the zone, and that's what happened. And we took a good swing on it.
Big difference between facing Bumgarner tied 1-1 in the series and up 2-0.
Yeah.
How important and big was pulling out a win tonight?
Yeah, the guy has a track record. He has a track record for competing, you know, tough, and I don't think he's lost yet. So, you know, we knew that this was an important game, and we took care of business.
So what's the mentality you take into that game?
All right, let's look ahead to Game 3. Monday, the Cubs will try and sweep this division series. Pitching matchup is epic. Cubs will trot out 18-game winner Jake Arrieta and 15-9 Madison Bumgarner, who's maybe the best postseason pitcher of our lifetime, will go to the post for the Giants.
It's an exciting one. I know the Cubs are going to go into this one ready to take it. I mean, that's just it. You don't ever want to assume anything. And, you know, because you win 2 here, you know, whether we're saying home field advantage, this, that, or the other, listen, go in there and handle your business. That's what it's all about. Get the win as quickly as possible and move on. You don't want to set anything up. You're not planning for this, that, or the other. Go beat Madison Bumgarner. Why not? Jake Arrieta, we know he can do that. We certainly know this Cubs team can score against Madison Bumgarner. I'm expecting them to go in there and play a great game.
I am as well. And again, I know everybody I've been listening to around town, oh, there's no way the series would be a sweep because you're never going to beat Bumgarner. He is 15-9. He lost 9 times. I know he's an elite postseason pitcher. Go in there and take care of business, and you got an elite guy going to the post for the Cubs in Jake Arrieta.
Well, I mean, part of it is, I mean, we know this electric atmosphere that we get here in Chicago. The San Francisco Giants have it as well, Cappy. I mean, out in San Francisco,
it's going to be a tough task.
Hey, it's not easy to go to San Francisco and win a baseball game. I can speak to that as a former Dodger. That is a tough place to win. But again, you can go in there, and here, let me give you a key. If you go in there and score a couple runs early, and I know you use that one an awful lot, but it always seems to just kind of tone things down on the road. If you can go in there and prove that you're going to hit against Madison Bumgarner, don't let him get that momentum, you can get something done.
All right, final thoughts. Quick break. We'll be right back.
Make sure he's in bed by 8.
Sometimes I get scared.
Scared of what, Danny?
The things I can't see.
Got a weird feeling. Almost forgot. In case anything happens.
Dad, I got this.
When you're on hold, your business is on hold. That's why Comcast Business doesn't leave you there. When you call, a small business expert will answer you in about 30 seconds. No annoying hold music. Just a real person, real fast, whenever you need them. business can get back to business. Sounds like my ride's ready.
Don't get stuck on hold. Reach an expert fast. Comcast Business, built for business.
Experience the thrill of the Lexus Performance line. Because the ultimate expression of power is control. This is the pursuit of perfection.
Did you just see that?
That was awesome.
We have to try it.
Okay.
Okay, mine's not working. Maybe you have to bump it.
Oh, yeah, do the bump it thing.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
You can take money out using the BMO Harris app.
You want to buy a hairless cat? There's a pet store down the street.
Cool.
I think she said BMO Harris app.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
When your phone is your debit card, that's the BMO effect. BMO Harris Bank. We're here to help.
All right, Jake Arrieta to the Post for the Cubs on Monday in San Francisco. Let's talk about Jake Arrieta. He has had a really good year. It wasn't last year. It was this year. It was a little different. Started off great, cooled a little bit late, and then was great against the Cardinals. Had a bit of a hiccup the last start of the season.
Well, you know, Jake Arrieta still is, as I've said so many times on air, you know, one of the most difficult guys to hit in baseball. He's still one of the toughest guys to square up. We're not watching Jake Arrieta get lit up here. I mean, it's not like a loss of velocity. It's really just command and mechanics. You know, the more consistent he gets, the more comfortable he gets inside of a ball game, he's going to be fine. You know, here's the thing. It's just like anybody. I mean, I could talk about it all night long. When you elevate pitches, you're going to get hit by big league hitters. And when you think back to the struggles he's had, pitches have been elevated. It's as simple as that. As soon as he gets confident, keeps that ball down, that ball starts to explode from the middle of the plate to the corners, you're going to see the Jake Arrieta that we've seen, you know, as his time as a Cub. I mean, his dominant, usual self, and he's absolutely capable of going in and shutting that Giants team down start to finish.
And I would think Cub fans will obviously be jacked up because you have a chance to sweep. But I would think a casual baseball fan in, just pick a random city, Seattle, Washington, will want to come home and sit back and watch these two guys, Arrieta, Bumgarner, lock horns.
Well, a couple of power arms, yeah. I mean, these two guys have really made their mark in the game of baseball right now, and they're the driving side of what the pitching in baseball is right now. So it is. It's one of the marquee matchups.
I'll see you Monday.
Sounds good.
All right, don't forget, you can get our Cubs Talk podcast at csnchicago.com/podcast. New version will be up later tonight.
As another capacity crowd files in, many of them hoping, some of them praying that this is finally the year.
In Chicago, some things just go together, like front porches and blue W's, bricks and ivy, Waveland Avenue and souvenirs, Jake and State Farm. Like home and auto insurance with State Farm, they just go together, and they save you time and money. Just another way we're here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.